I'm ready to rate this.
All right, go. 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna give this a 5.
I almost want to give it a 5. You know what? Let's do it. 2 5s. I love this show. Hey guys, welcome to the next Critique the Community. Today we're gonna be critiquing abstract images. If you would like to be a part of the next critique, it starts right now at fstoppers.com/contests. And our new genre is going to be soft light photos.
Soft light.
So
we've done hard light, we've done interesting light. We've never done soft light.
I don't think we've done it, but we've been doing this for years, so it's very difficult to not do the same thing again.
Yeah. Well, soft light I feel like is the easiest lighting setup to get into. In fact, there was many times where I would avoid hard light and only try to shoot like people with soft light.
But this is going to be a very generic theme, and so it can be people, it could also be landscapes, it could be animals, anything with soft light. And you can join right now at fstoppers.com/contest. It's totally free. The first 3 winners, first, second, and third place, will all receive a free tutorial from the Fstoppers store. And we are doing a giant sale on one of our tutorials.
The Fundamentals of Fashion Photography with Siobhan Wong. Now, this is a tutorial that we produced years ago. It's 2.5 hours, so it's a little bit shorter, but it kind of covers everything you might need to know about working with a model, working with a team, building a set, creating real fashion looking images. I know a lot of people try to shoot fashion and it never really looks like fashion, but Siobhan, her work is incredible. It looks so good. And so we did a tutorial with her years ago. And for the entire month of August, we're gonna be selling this for $49.99. It's normally $179, so I don't know the percentage off there, but
it's a lot of money off.
It's the cheapest it's probably ever been. So definitely check that out. You can go to fstoppers.com/store, or you can just win first, second, or third place in the next contest. So let's jump right into this one. All right, so the first image here, I believe you picked these out.
I did.
But this image, I picked this image randomly from our community to represent the overall theme of this contest. This is abstract, but I wanted it to also not just be like blurry images of, what is it?
Yeah.
I felt like this, you can tell what it is, but it kind of fit abstract from a unique angle. And this person, this photographer, Alex Hill, he put his image in the contest, which doesn't always happen.
But it seems to happen more than you would think, which I love. It's, we just randomly pick an image to promote, and then the photographer's like, oh, if you like my image, then other people will too. I'm gonna submit it to the contest.
Do you know where in the big scheme of things, like we can see how every image is rated on the back end?
Yeah.
Was this in the top 10 or?
Yeah, I think this was like number 5.
Okay.
So it's very highly rated. I find this very interesting. It stood out to me right off the bat. I liked it. I knew I had to include it. When I clicked on it, I saw that you had commented on it. What do you think's going on with that sky? Isn't that sky a weird tone? It's almost like a super flat gray tone. Do you think there's been some weird funny business? I don't know. He says.
I mean, this whole image, like all the tones are that gray color or orange. Like they've definitely tweaked every single color in this photo. Like I'm not even convinced that the canopies on the umbrellas are this, blue jean color. It feels like he could have just gone really crazy in Photoshop one day and came up with this image.
Well, he specifically says, taken from a ground perspective with liberal masking and slider skullduggery in Photoshop. Not heard that word before.
Well, I like the skullduggery. Every time I try to do this, it looks super cheesy, like I have Photoshop, 1.0 or something. This does a really good job. Like it feels like pop art. It's almost like the colors have been manipulated in a way where it doesn't feel like photography anymore, but the detail is clearly still photography. So I think this is really interesting.
Zoom into the bottom right down there.
Bottom right.
See all that weird orange on different buildings and stuff? Like that's not real.
Yeah, and like the posts look like they've been painted or something. There's also like on the far left, you can kind of see some haloing around some of the umbrellas. I mean, it's not perfect, but I guess I'm a little less critical on that sort of thing when this image is this wacky. If it was a image trying to be super realistic, you'd be like, I see.
Well, it's fun. I mean, until just now, I thought this was real. I guess I just didn't look at it that closely until right now. I just kind of looked at it as this graphic piece of art. But as I look closer, I'm like, yeah, there is some weird photoshopping going on, but Like you said, it kind of feels like a pop art type thing. Like it's not trying to be realistic.
How are we rating these? Are we just saying, do we like
If you like it or not.
Okay.
Are you ready to rate it?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. What did you get, 4? I'm in between a 3 and a 4. I like it. I don't know. Let's continue.
Like if you were in a really modern hotel room and this was printed on your wall, I would be like, that's super cool. It's better than 90% of the art that you see in a hotel.
I agree.
And especially if this was in the town that the hotel is in, it would be even cooler. You're like, it's right down there, but like that's a unique perspective. So
right.
I really like it. And they're playing off the color wheel really well with the complementary colors.
Next, this one really stood out to me. I had to include it. At first glance, you're like, oh, it's a computer chip.
Yeah.
Obviously. And it is not. This is a roof on an industrial building in Milan, Italy.
Oh my gosh. Somehow I have subscribed or just get recommended these subreddits like HVAC and or like Dex. Maybe Dex is really popular.
I think Reddit also shows me content from those subreddits.
And so I'll just log in and it's stuff like this where, it's not this graphic. It's not like a fine art piece of photography or something, but it'll just have the craziest layout of HVAC and people are like, this is beautiful, but incredibly dumb the way they've done this. And it reminds me of this to where you're like, how would you even begin to work on this? Is this the most inefficient air conditioning system or power grid? Like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Plumbing system? Is this old and they've just kept building onto it? Or was this, the way you're seeing it, is this the way that it was designed when the builder built this building?
I don't know.
This seems like a nightmare.
It's, you look at like Tesla's new building and, their gigafactory or whatever, and there's nothing on the roof at all. It's like perfectly clean. And then you see this, and I'm like, what could they possibly be making in this building that requires all of this to be on the outside of the building? You would just imagine you want all the pipes and stuff to be on the inside of the building.
Well, I was just talking to a buddy of ours, Charlie, about putting solar panels on our roofs here in Puerto Rico and how it may protect your roof from sunlight and it may even deflect some rain, but the rain's eventually still going to go past the solar panel. But I was just thinking, it makes repairing the roof a nightmare.
Yeah.
If you now have solar panels all over your roof,
yeah.
especially when they're concrete and they're constantly leaking. Could you imagine this gray area? They're like, we have a leak somewhere in there, and you have to send somebody up there to repair it.
Yeah.
It just, a lot of the stuff, I think it might perform better if it's enclosed in concrete or in the conditioned space. If you can have all the piping inside, it's definitely better. Super cool image. Like you said, you start to think this is a motherboard or some kind of, electrical chipset or, I don't know, it's got that feel to it.
Let's rate it. 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to go 4.
I was close to giving this a 5.
Yeah?
I really like this. And even that little brown spot on the side, where something's rusting, I like that too. It adds this little element of interest there.
If this were to be just a macro shot of a motherboard, do you think it would be, you would find it as interesting or not?
No, I don't. I find it to be very interesting because it looks like a motherboard and then it's not.
Yeah.
Next up, this was taken by Daniel Vine, I think, and it is the highest rated image in the critique. And I have not read yet what this is. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at here. Can you guess what this is?
I'm going to guess poorly, but maybe not so crazy. I'm going to say it's some kind of salt formation. Like, we've been to some salt flats here in Puerto Rico and around the world, and I feel like it's got to be ice, right? Like, this isn't lava. Or is it just photo manipulation to where he's painted the veins of this a certain color? I mean, they do end in a really strange kind of way. Some of them more abruptly than others, but maybe it would do that naturally as well.
It is a vivid mineral deposit in a mining waste pond.
Okay, that's like a salt.
Yeah, I would say you're right.
A mineral deposit.
It was taken with a drone, so very, very interesting. I mean, you could tell me that this was taken with a microscope.
Yeah.
And this is like a human cell or something. And I'd go, oh, wow, okay. I believe you.
It's the next coronavirus.
There it is. COVID 2025 right there. There's something about it that I don't really find pretty.
No, it's got these sharp, sinister angles. It looks like something out of Metroid or...
Oh, it does feel like a virus or something.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, like there's elements of this, especially like the blue areas, that I do find to be very beautiful. But something about this orange, it feels like this deadly pathogen. And so it's hard for me to look at this and say, oh, wow, it's a beautiful piece of art. It doesn't feel like that to me just based on what it is. It's very interesting, but I don't want this hanging on my wall.
There's a lot of fine art, though, that is great fine art that you probably still don't want hanging on your wall, right?
Sure.
I'm imagining, like, crazy pictures of people that are just, they give you a weird vibe, or like weird nudity, or, that beautiful art that I did of the two girls' tongues kissing and the saliva, it's like, it's high level art.
Yeah, the highest.
You still might not want it on your wall.
That's true.
So I don't know that I can critique this saying, like, it doesn't sit well with me, even though it's just a simple, beautiful crystallization of minerals or whatever it is, but I see what you're saying.
Let's rate it. 3, 2, 1. I'm going 3. I don't know. It's interesting, but it's missing something for me. Next.
Flying through this critique, which reminds me, we haven't been in the same room for a critique in like 2 months now.
Is that right?
Yeah, just got back from Charleston, and but you're about to head out.
I'm leaving in 2 days, yeah.
So I feel like we have been like ships in the night the last, this whole summer, really.
Yeah. Now, when I compare this image to the last one,
okay, yeah.
like this one is absolutely beautiful to me. I love so much about this image.
Yeah.
From a compositional standpoint. I love that line, that wiggly white line, that's cutting it. I love that interesting dark vignette that's along the bottom. I love the thick ice down at the bottom that gets smaller as it goes up. There's just so much interesting stuff going on. And
what is this? Like it's fibers, or it's feathers, or...
It's frost on a window.
What?
Yeah.
That is crazy. Like... Why does it change shape so much? Like, is it just the angle of the camera? Like, somehow it's looking more diffused and smaller on the top right?
I don't know.
Super detailed.
I don't know.
This totally looks computer generated, right?
I don't know. When I saw this, I thought it was frost on a window, but there's elements of it that I don't really know what I'm looking at, like the dark and the white and everything like that.
And if you compare this to the last image, I feel like this also has kind of like a sinister, darker feel, but it feels a little lighter. It reminds me a lot of, that famous piece of art where it's like blackbirds and white birds. And
Escher.
Is that him?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's like my favorite artist as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He had the like hand with the ball and all that stuff. It reminds me of that image specifically, where the birds like merge, and in the middle they transition.
Absolutely.
Wow, I'm ready to rate this.
All right, go. 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna give this a 5.
I almost want to give it a 5. You know what? Let's do it. 2 5s. I love this shot.
I feel like this is one of the coolest. I mean, if we find this to be AI generated, then it's gonna be a little bummer. But
I mean, he gave a lot of details. He said he took it 10 years ago. He took it with a Sony A6300 with a 50mm f2.5 macro lens with an adapted 50mm f2.5. So I don't think he's pulling a fast one on us.
Like, what are we looking at, though? Like, what is the black and the white? Is that something outside? Is that the sky? Is that a cloth, a reflection? Like, there's just so many questions I have here, because normally you could look at this image and start to say, I get it. There's his reflection, and there's something outside, and then there's the windowsill, and you can kind of start to make out what it is, but I have no bearing on what's up and down and left and right. Like, I don't know what we're looking at all.
I don't either.
That transition is crazy looking, and like I said, the shapes have a really strange transition where it's almost like water bubbles, and then it's these scratches, these crystallizations. I don't know. Super cool image.
Dave Vichich. We haven't given out 5s in a long time. It's funny that frost on glass is what does it for us.
What did the community have to say about this image? This is in the top 5 too, right?
I don't think it was. They gave it a 3.07.
Solid image.
I mean, it's hard to rate this. I'm not offended if somebody says this is a solid image, but there's just a lot of details with this that make me go to the 4 or the 5. And in terms of abstract images that I would happily put on my wall, this is up there for sure.
Yeah. Now this style of imagery I feel like is pretty popular and common. How do you feel about this phenomenon in general? Whether it's did you ever make like tie-dyed t-shirts as a kid?
Sure.
Or like people like to put a bunch of paint on the surface of water and then dip things in and you pull them out and it has this like kind of vibe to it. It's pretty, but I feel like it's just a little overdone. It's like super simple, but it kind of always feels artsier than it really is. I see people dipping guitars in and doing this sort of stuff, or like jars and things. And I'm always like, I just don't know that I want to look at that all the time.
Okay.
But I also don't want to say that that's what this is. It kind of feels like that's what it is.
What do you think this is?
I mean, it feels like something floating and suspended on water and shot at an angle, but I'm prepared for that not to be the case.
No, that is. It's literally just soapy water.
And then what is the color grade? How did they get the transitions there?
I think you can get that by just shooting at an angle.
Do you have different lights set up around the water so that it's...
He says he has a camera flash positioned to the side and slightly behind it. But sometimes you'll see oil or something on top of water, and if you look at it from an angle, it'll kind of create different colors and stuff, like a rainbow effect. So I think that's all that's happening here.
Yeah. I did an Fstoppers video a few years ago during COVID, I think, because there was nothing else to do, where I bought different paints and dyes and tried to get like the inks going into the water and pluming up and backlighting it and doing all this stuff. And it was creating images kind of like this, but the detail that you have here, mine, I feel like there was a lot of blurring and muddying of the water, like this. If you look at anything in this photo, every line is very well defined, Yeah. It's almost like it looks like oil in water, to where there's a sharp contrast. Whereas the dyes and the inks and everything I was using, you had a few seconds before it started to change all of the water a certain color.
You know what? I misread. This is soap, but it is a bubble. It is literally a bubble that he's photographed. He's just much closer to it than I thought.
So you think this is, it's hard to say how big it is.
Yeah, he says he used a very small aperture to get more depth of field. But yeah, it's just literally an up-close image of a bubble.
I've never photographed a bubble. I don't know if we're looking at the sky is the bottom part, and then the ring that would make the bubble is the purple. You know what I mean? Like all the colors around the bubble are reflecting in and creating this pattern.
He says he kept the background dark and used a small aperture for more depth of field. So I think that's how he's getting like the reflection, the bright areas are like the flash reflecting off of it, but then when you look through it, it's actually dark behind it. That's my guess.
All right. You ready to rate it?
Yep. 3, 2, 1. 3 stars. 3. We agree. Next up.
This image, one, it's a crazy crop. Like, it's kind of cool to see an ultra wide panoramic. Mm-hmm. I know how hard that is to display on monitors and even harder to print and do something in a room. But this reminds me, even though it's very different, it reminds me when you and Elia went to Japan, and there was one lesson where you had all these incredible time lapses. And in many ways, I was like, the time lapses look more epic than the photos that Elia did, just because you could represent a passage of time in a short time lapse.
I know.
And it was like God rays after God rays after God rays. And it's like as soon as the time lapse felt like it was at its peak, it went up a notch and you saw the sun, and then it got even crazier.
Oh, that we were shooting the Tory Gate in the water.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, I don't mean to say anything bad about Elia's photography, but when you see a still frame, even if it was a long exposure, in that specific setting, it was almost like the time lapse really captured the essence of what it must have felt like to be there, more than any single photograph.
Yeah, and I love this image, first of all, but I could also see this being a incredible time lapse with a lot of movement and God rays going on, like it would look so cool.
Yeah. I like that it's real subtle in the color too, you know. So much of this, you start bumping up the vibrance and burning it all in, and next thing you know, that orange on the horizon is just super bright, and the greens in the foreground, everything, you know, would be a little too over the top.
Yeah.
I like that this is real subtle. And it even looks a little, there's a little bit more blue on your monitor here than this. This almost has like a sepia tone to it. But I like both versions. Maybe I like the one that's got a little more blue in it. So I'll be curious to see what it shows up on other people's monitors.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. What are you giving?
4?
3? Yeah, I'm giving it 4.
3. I think I like it as much as the last. I mean, I don't know. They're different images, but it's not blowing me away. But
next. This one was really interesting. I feel like we've seen this before. Have we critiqued this image before? We had to have.
It sure feels like I've seen this, but because I remember, I mean, I know how I would critique it today. Maybe it was another version of this, like another image in this style, but the one I'm thinking about, it has this same kind of painterly stroke to it where it doesn't look like a traditional time lapse, where all the lines are really smooth.
Yeah.
Like the crest of the crashing of the wave, it should be more whimsical, where it feels like there's a lot of sharp lines here. You know what I mean?
I know.
And then you also have that spray on the top, which feels like fireworks. But the time on the far left and the right feel like those are longer exposures than what's in the middle.
So this was taken by Kyle Foreman. He says that he was on a pier in North Carolina. He shot at f20, ISO 50, so that he could get a 1/6 of a second exposure with a 180 millimeter lens. He then panned from left to right, I assume with the waves moving, to get this effect. And it seems to be, well, you know, I'm looking at that same thing that you are, and like the upper middle where it somehow the lines of the water look sharp, which doesn't really make sense, but maybe he's kind of moving with them or something. I'm not exactly sure, but I really like it.
Yeah, it's that technique in photography I've never been very successful at, but the whole panning while following your subject. And in really good examples of that, if you can time it perfectly, you can get the race car sharp, but all the people and everything around it look like they're moving super fast.
Right.
I've never even considered doing that with something like a wave where everything is in motion.
Yeah.
But if you could follow that crest, that kind of explains exactly what we're thinking about here.
What about the colors? There's some wackiness going on here.
I mean,
And he doesn't mention it in his write-up.
I add long exposures like that. I mean, 1/6 of a second's not that crazy, but with the panning technique, it's hard to say what it's going to do. I mean,
what?
You definitely see like, well, I don't know. Weird things happen with long exposures, and weird things happen.
No, they don't. Not that. What are you talking about? How are you going to get
greens,
like teals and oranges and stuff because your exposure's long? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe we're talking about different things here. I'm just talking about the whimsical pulling of the hues, but sun's to the far left.
I'm talking about the color in general looks whacked out in this image. This is not the way the world looks. You realize that the world doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They put a color grade on it.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm bringing up.
Are you saying, though, that like the sun's on the far left and it's casting shadows?
Yep.
And you could see the hard shadows being stretched across the frame.
Yep.
But the top wave that has the explosion, it's very warm in nature.
It almost looks like there's been orange brushes, added to that.
But then right below it, being hit by the same sun, a slightly
white.
different angle, it's like pink and white.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of weirdness going on. And there's also, there's a couple of hot spots, especially right down kind of the middle where that wave is breaking, where I'm like, it's just a little blown out. I don't know. There's elements of this that I absolutely love, but it also feels a little over-processed, and I'm like, I'd also like to see this maybe in just black and white. You ready to rate it?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna go 4. I really like this. I wish the explosion wave wasn't there. I wish that the whole crest was more like the bottom or the top. I feel like that's just too much. My eye goes to it, and it feels so crazy. It makes it feel a little bit more over the top. It It'd be interesting if you just highlight that and see what AI does. Could it just make it look like the bottom part of the wave?
I think AI could build this entire image from scratch, and we would all prefer it. I like this image, but I think AI with this sort of thing would destroy us all.
I was talking with somebody with Amazon the other day, and this whole conversation kind of got brought up, and he was making the argument that like AI just still can't do things quite as well as humans. And I was like, do I let this go or do I entertain it? And I was like, I don't know. I think every example I've seen where you throw an image into AI and have it spit it back out, I like the AI version better. If it's a portrait, like I saw somebody in the Charleston group saying this. Here's the portrait I did of the race car driver, and here's what AI thinks it should look like. And he was making the argument that like AI still can't do the job of the photographer. And I was like, I think I like the AI version better. And I've noticed that with my own work. If I take my own images, I like what AI does to them. You know, it's kind of
without even prompting. You just give it your image and you're just like, fix this, and it does a good job.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Man, this feels like the cover of like a 9 Inch Nails single or something.
Yeah, I really liked this. I didn't fully understand. Crystal J took this. She wrote a lot of stuff. I didn't quite understand what she did. She was on the beach and she just did some long exposures of the sand or sand dunes and somehow got this.
She's talking about intentional camera movement. One thing that I've never seen done that this image makes me think of is, you know, the previous image was a panning shot, right? And you're trying to pan it on a tripod or handheld, but there's always going to be some level of variability to it, you know?
Yeah.
What if you could mount a camera on like a Rhino slider? I've heard that company has completely gone out of business maybe years ago. I didn't know this, but
I didn't know that.
You mount a camera on some kind of automated system that could do the camera movement perfect. Because I mean, look at these lines; they look perfectly vertical, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Is there some kind of art form in that where you could have the camera doing panning or long exposures, but moved in a very, very systematic way? It's probably more than I have patience for, taking all this gear outside and doing it. But how is this done?
She just says, the dunes were brilliantly lit by the setting sun, so I tried to do some intentional camera movement. And it was not as easy as it looks because of the movement, timing, and blah, 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 blah.
The dunes, so it almost feels like we're looking at what is that plant?
The cattails or whatever? Yeah, but they're just so perfectly straight. I don't know. But here's the other interesting thing, and this totally makes the image for me. I never really thought about all the little speckles on it, but you said it's just a dirty camera sensor.
Oh.
And I think it makes the image.
Could there be a technique where before you go out to shoot, you open your camera and you just like throw stuff at the sensor?
Cough on it, and then this is what you come up with.
I mean, in today, I can see that being a viral YouTube video where it's like photographer destroys his sensor every time he goes. Then he pulls the sensor out and mounts it with the art, and you like buy the sensor with the work. And everyone's a unique piece.
No.
And every photographer out there scoffs and says, "Oh my gosh, he's destroying his lens and his camera system."
Are you ready to rate it?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Between a 3 and a 4.
I'm going 4. I really like this image. I don't know what I'm looking at, but in terms of just abstract fine art, I love it.
I'm so curious to know how you got these lines so vertical, because in post-production, that would be incredibly easy, right?
Yeah.
You just set a motion blur vertically and then maybe like blur it out so that you get, it to not be the entire thing.
I wonder if she had a tilt head and she just did it with a tripod.
Yeah, I guess that would give you a straight line.
Yeah.
You don't need all that crazy automation that I was talking about. All right, next up.
It's funny. I kept overlooking this thumbnail. I thought it was like bottles dropping into water or something. And then finally I clicked on it and was like, oh man, they're like ball bearings or BBs or something. Steel ball bearings plunge into water. Their descent captured at a split second with the Canon R5 85mm f1.2 and the ProPhoto D2 strobes to freeze the motion.
It's funny because it has this like, I'm going to name a movie you probably haven't seen, but The Abyss from like the 80s, like underwater. It reminds me of something going underwater and searching for aliens or shipwrecks. Or did you see that documentary on the Titan? It's on Netflix.
The Titan.
The one that exploded like 2 or 3 years ago.
No. Is it a good documentary?
It's yes, you should definitely watch it.
Okay.
It gives you all this insight on how they built it and all the testing that they did and all the failures that were there from the beginning and how the guy was out of his mind and just wanted to like dismiss it. But then he was still willing to go in it. It was just kind of weird. Like if I had things cracking, I would have been like, no way am I going in that, you know? But he just tried to be like, it's not a big deal. Let's still do it. And it kind of feels like he got lucky and went down many times and just didn't have a catastrophic failure. But
I gotta say, if there's a way to die, that's the way to die, man.
I mean, watching this though, like it's easy to think how claustrophobic it must have felt, but watching this documentary and hearing the cracks and like, oh my gosh, like
wait, were there cracks leading up to it, or was it just an instantaneous explosion?
There's cracks. Like there's sounds, pops, big loud popping sounds, and he would be like, "That's the." What is your tripod made out of? Carbon fiber. He made this thing out of carbon fiber, and that cracks and pops because it's threads. It's like, you know, and he's like, that's just common. You hear that with this material.
Like he's like under the ocean saying this, like he's talking to people.
I mean, I don't know if they have footage of him in the ocean, but like they have people that went under with him and said, yes, I saw the Titanic. He made it down there several times.
Yeah,
and they said we heard the cracks, and this is how he explained it to us. And then they have footage of him in the labs hearing these while they're testing.
All right, but I'm saying they weren't filled with fear and had this fearful long death.
A lot of people in there were unsettled when they went down and they survived. But the people, anyone that went down there and heard these cracks and these sounds would be fearful. But the second it's over with, it's over with. Like there's no torture, there's no like suffering.
Right.
But it ends on. It doesn't explain the final dive, and it doesn't tell you where the lives and the families and stuff are afterwards. It doesn't tell you about litigations. It doesn't tell you. It just kind of like works its way up to that final moment that we've all heard, and then the documentary kind of ends.
Really?
So it's really interesting to hear the lead up, but it kind of leaves you. I hope I didn't ruin that for anybody. Like it kind of leaves you with this cliffhanger of like, there's one more episode, right? Like you have to like finish the whole thing.
I would have thought part of the documentary would cover kind of the cover-up, where so many people knew that it had exploded, but they still had to pretend that they were looking for them and all this stuff.
Those people are in the episode, but they're talking about the failures leading up to it and how like people are getting fired left and right. They're not getting fired, they're leaving. A couple of people get fired because they're like, I don't agree with this, and he's like, you're out. But then other engineers are like, I can't go forward with this. But the ones that left, I feel like they were all pretty honest going forward. But the people that were left there, you're right. Like there was some level of cover up. I don't know. I don't want to give away too much, but this image reminds me of people getting in these small little crafts trying to go to the bottom of the ocean.
Are you ready to rate it?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars, we agree. It's a solid image to me. I could also see this on a fancy hotel room's wall in the bedroom, you know, a modern overpriced hotel. I think I might want a little bit more separation between the balls.
Yeah?
Yeah, it kind of feels like a jumbled mess down at the bottom.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
There is.
It's funny how, because they're ball bearings, it looks so much more interesting to me than if this was fruit. If this was, you know, blackberries and stuff, raspberries, you'd be like,
seen it
a million times.
Yep.
But, yeah, it's cool. It's kind of a novelty. Like this is the first thing you get into when you're doing photography and you're learning about flash duration and backlighting and water and splash. You dropping things in the water. So I feel like there's a part of me that remembers doing that in my first couple of years of playing in photography, and because of that, it kind of knocks it down a little bit. But still really good.
Next, and the final shot. Now, I want you to guess what this is.
There's a lot of ways to go about it.
Yeah,
my initial thought is it's a drone shot, and you want to think that this is like the top and the bottom, but maybe you're actually looking down on some kind of tunnel, or tunnel's not the right word. It's like a landing.
It keeps flipping in my vision, where like the white middle part is towards the camera, and then I see it the other way, and the white part is like away, and the it's a very strange optical illusion to me.
But then the line that goes through the bottom third, it's so different that it makes me think that there's a lip or something. I don't know. There's all kinds of weird angles in this.
And so, I'm looking at especially the bottom white area, and I'm like, all right, that looks like snow. So
Lit by sunlight, like a
yeah, right. But then you look up that white part, and all those little ridges up there kind of look like it had been underwater or something, right?
Yeah, it's almost like melting water is falling, forming these passages. But why do they not make it down? And there's like it's falling behind it or something.
Well, this
or it's
is
like
why.
refreezing. I don't know.
He says this was taken of an iceberg right after it had rolled.
Whoa.
So I wonder if the top portion of this was underwater, and then the bottom portion of this is snow, and the bottom portion has not seen the water in a long time.
That's even like more confusing to try to figure out.
I know.
Because you would think this middle part would break with any sort of movement, right?
Yeah, I know.
That is strange. You've seen these like little shorts where people are climbing an iceberg and all of a sudden it starts to roll.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is horrifying. Also scale. It's like, I don't know if this little speck that's there, like if that's the size of a human, or if,
Right.
this is like a macro shot and, your foot is as big as the scene or something.
All right, you ready to rate it?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna go 4.
Okay.
I like this one more than the last one, for sure. It's so simple and elegant, but it has so much depth. Like, we're having a hard time deciding what's far away and up and down, and I just really find it super interesting.
Well, it is now time to determine the winners, but I am reading the rules that you wrote last month, and you said that every single person that we feature gets a free tutorial.
I went a little crazy, so I thought we would reward everybody.
But
is there somebody you want to like not give a tutorial to, or what's going on?
Yeah.
Are you for real?
No,
you gonna pull a tutorial from somebody?
No, I'm joking. I just want to also give a first, second, and third place.
Oh, okay.
Just so I think first place is going to be the ice, right? Because we both gave it 5 stars.
Yep. Do you and I both agree that the motherboard image is probably our second favorite image?
Yeah. This is
second
second
motherboard.
place.
It's not a motherboard. It's just a rooftop.
Yep. And then third place, we're giving it to Crystal J with the weird, creepy, dusty
9 Inch Nails
sensors.
cover, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because any of the images that we just featured, you guys get a free tutorial from the Fstoppers store. Send me, Lee Morris, a private message on Fstoppers and let me know which tutorial you want, and I will get that sent over to you. And if you would like to be a part of the next critique,
Soft Light
starts
now.
Join right now at fstoppers.com/contest. Next month, first, second, and third place get a free tutorial. Not all 10. We're not doing it again, but thanks for watching, guys.